Hi everyone, I'm Tracy, your host for Chandler's Channel, and today's session is our monthly reading for August 2013. Say goodbye to July. Yeehaw! So if that's what you're here for, stay tuned. Whitehawk will be up shortly. But as always, I like to touch back on the previous week and, previous month. And that was July, and Whitehawk had said it would be a very hot and wet month, and he was absolutely correct on that, because where I am, it was extremely hot. There was a lot of intense heat, a lot of intense thunderstorms. There was even tornado watches, and I know across Canada, at least Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, all had tornado watches and warnings. That's pretty intense. And the wetness, well, of course, that comes through the thunderstorms. He also spoke of a lot of heat when it comes to intense heat geographically and on Earth. Heat comes as well in the way of anger. And he gave us some tips on how to dissipate the heat and the heat that comes with anger. So getting by water, going out in nature, writing it down in a journal, things like that. So I hope that you were able to dissipate a lot of those, a lot of the anger, and well, July's done. It's not my favorite month, I'm sad to say, because I'm just not a fan of those storms. 2 years ago, we had a cedar tree that came down onto our garage. It just missed our garage by that much. It did cause like a wee bit of damage to the door. Luckily it was saved by hydro wires, which is not so good in itself either. So ever since then, I'm not a real fan watching the trees sway back and forth and wondering which one is going to come down. So that's my rant on that. So we're here for the August 2013 reading. So let's go get Whitehawk and see what he has to say. Sorry. Indeed, he says, there are a lot who have come to play. Let's go have a look, he says. Who is here, who has arrived and wants to speak with us? And he's coming through as like he's a warrior or a knight. Feels very much like a knight of the Templar's cross. So that's how he's coming to me. He's got the big silver armor on, when he's on a horse, and he's carrying a pole, and of course on the top of it is a flag. I don't see the flag, but now that I say that, I see the flag. And it's white, and the flag is like, it goes like that, right? That double triangle thing. And I want to say there's an emblem of a tiger. Well, much like if you watched Merlin on the BBC, much like that red lion of Camelot, right? That's what it's coming across to me as. And Whitehawk says, indeed, it is very much that. He says, it is the Knights of the Templar cross, he says, and indeed it is very much in tune with Camelot, for did they not fight for the right of the Knights of the Templar's cross, he says. Interesting. So he says, indeed, he has come to join us in our plight, he says, for this upcoming month. And, sorry, I kind of jumped in there and I should have. I'm like, does he have a name? And Whitehawk says, it need not be important what his name is. All you need to know is that he is here to join us on our plight for this upcoming month. And so he is on his horse, the knight, and he is marching forth. And, you know, there are many that have come behind him this month in the plight of the Knights of the Templar's Cross, or as they say, of Camelot, right? And Whitehawk says, Tracy, you are challenged, or you are stumbling on this, he says, simply because you are trying to differentiate the two. He says, why indeed do you need to differentiate the two when indeed they are of one? He says, can you not just say Knights of the Templar Cross for Camelot? I go, sure, I can say that. He goes, okay, we will continue now. So, because indeed it is a big month, my friends, for there are a lot of newcomers coming on board with us on our plight, in our quest, he says, for the Knights of the Templar's Cross. And people are like, ooh, I can't wait, I love this, you know, they're loving the visual I'm giving them of the Knights of the Templar Cross, and that we're knights, and that we're on a plight, and Camelot, and and he says, indeed, it is a very exciting month, he says, for there are many out there who are looking and have just not found you yet, he says, Tracy, or found us yet. And I'm like, wow. He says, yes, it is a good month, my friends. It is a good month for you too, my friends, he says, for indeed, in your new roles, he says, you will expand. You will expand in your new roles. And in your new roles, it will become very apparent to you where you are to walk, where you are to place your next step, where you are to place your next foot. And everyone's sort of taking this in. I do not want you to be afraid now that I have said that to you, my children. Be as excited and naive about it, he says, as young children would be in their play, in their imaginative play of the Knights of the Templar's Cross, or the Knights of Camelot, he says. Be imaginative in your play. He says, go forth and create and be imaginative in your play, he says, this month, as we make our way in the Knights of the Templar Cross. The Knights of Camelot. Oh yes, he says, we have come to play, and we have come to stay. But none more important, he says, is the day. None more important is the day that we come to play and stay on our Father's earth today. God bless, he says, in your quest for the Knights of Camelot, he says. God bless, children. God bless. Like he's saying, I love you. And so the knight is just going, and when I look, like, so we're sitting there on the beach, and the knight is there on his horse, and there are many, many more behind him coming, like, I mean a lot. You know, if we're sitting here and he's here, and then it just kind of winds around and then up a hill and then down, so I can't completely see all who's coming, which is probably not a bad thing on my part because it might freak me out, but you know, I can see them coming. And the knight says, halt, and everyone halts. And he dismounts his horse, and he takes the flag and he puts it here. And he sticks it in the ground, in the sand, and he says, indeed, we are here to play, but more importantly, we are here to stay, he says, and everyone lets out a hooray. hooray, hooray, the knights have come to play. Hooray, 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 we're here to stay. Hooray, 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 the knights have come to play. Hooray, 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 we're here to stay. And this is what we are as the audience, or the people that were listening to Whitehawk's reading. They're jumping up and down, being happy and dancing and hooking arms, you know, and swinging each other around. And this is what they were singing. And and the knights and all those on horseback that dismounted are doing the same. And so it's like this big happy dance. And they just keep doing it. Hooray, hooray, hooray. The knights have come to play. Hooray, hooray, hooray. We're here to stay. We've come to stay. It's fun. It's nice to see. All right. Thank you. God bless. Well, I'll leave it there because they're still partying on and dancing and singing that little jingle. It's kind of catchy, right? Hooray, 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 the knights have come to play. Hooray, 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 they're here to stay. That's going to probably be in my head all day. So that is our monthly reading for the month of August. It's going to be an interesting one. I can't wait to touch back in the month of September to see how August came about. So that's our monthly reading. Tune in on Mondays for our weekly reading. I'll see you then. I'm Tracy for a Chandler's Channel. Subscribe. It's free. Like, share, and comment. God bless.